I was in denial. I was just like, oh, my poops are getting weird and more frequent. And then I started, seeing blood. I don't like to ask for help, but I waited quite a while to even like I'm very close with my wife. I didn't even tell her that I was like having blood coming out. Like it took me a while to even tell her, and then I was losing weight.
Cole, what's up, man? Thanks for joining me today to discuss your journey with IBD. Holy cow, great job.
Yeah, no, happy to be here.
I'm happy you're here too, man. And thanks for having the courage and just paying it forward. I know that you were watching some of these and that was a testament and, also being referred into the program. That's also something I'm excited about. But can you first tell me what were you diagnosed with? How long ago? And what was that like for you?
Yeah, it's July now. I was officially diagnosed in October of last year, but I had my symptoms started in August, September, and I kind of waited to go in, and I was very reluctant to, I guess, go in and get diagnosed, but diagnosed with ulcerative colitis. He diagnosed it as like severe ulcerative colitis, crazy high
Wow.
calprotectin levels.
And had anyone in your family dealt with this? Had you heard of this before all this happened?
Not really have heard of it. Hadn't known anyone personally who went through it, and no family members.
Were you overwhelmed with the process? Like, what is this? I'm going to have it for the rest of my life. Was that the conversation you were getting with the doctor?
I knew by the time I went into the doctor, I knew he was gonna say that because I had done so much research online. So Jordan Rubin, I had kind of loosely, like I had followed him, if you know Dr. Axe. I just had casually listened to them as health advice people before.
Mhm.
And so I knew Rubin's story with Crohn's.
Yep.
I
So
knew
you
it
were
wasn't
already
my
on the
own.
map.
Like I didn't want
Yeah.
to accept that at all from the beginning, but I knew that was the medical view of it.
So what's interesting is before you were diagnosed, I'm sure you were having a few GI issues go on, but you were already looking into health. You were already following certain people, Axe, Jordan Rubin. You were starting to become aware of people that natural healing was possible and there's a lot we could do. So you already had a little bit of that in your bones. You were excited about it. You were practicing some of this. All of a sudden, you're diagnosed with an incurable disease. So the first thing you started doing is, okay, I'm going to start working towards more natural therapies, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And I see a lot more people coming to this realm. When I first got diagnosed, all there was Jordan Rubin's book and a few other people's books, but there were no podcasts and breakdowns and videos like this. So you come in and you start doing natural, and did you start getting results going on really strict diets, or were you just completely confused with all the conflicting information out there? What was that experience? Because you were diagnosed for about 5-6 months before you joined the program.
If we're looking back, my symptoms on it started all the way back in like June, definitely July, so like a year ago, but they were really slow. I was in denial. I was just like, oh, my poops are getting weird and more frequent. And then I started, seeing blood. And honestly, just because I don't know, I guess I'm just one of those like hard-headed people. I don't like to ask for help. But I waited quite a while to even like I'm very close with my wife. I didn't even tell her that I was like having blood coming out. Like it took me a while to even tell her. And then I was losing weight, and I was like, oh, like Jordan Rubin's big on bone broth. Like if you listen to him, he's big on bone broth. And I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna really cut back. Like maybe I just need to fast. And I stopped eating a lot. I would do like some smoothies and I would drink bone broth. And I was like, maybe this will help. I'll try this for like 2 weeks. Well, then I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm getting so like I'm already a lean person.
Yeah.
And like my friends were like, it was like summertime, and I played disc golf, and I took my shirt off, and my friends were like, bro, you're lean, dude. Like, what are you doing? And I was like, well, and I just kept losing weight. And then I was like, okay, I need to eat some food.
Yeah.
And then I was like, well, let me try chicken and potatoes and rice, just like all whole foods, but I had no strategy and I couldn't even stomach it. So, I mean, I'm kind of going in circles here, but yeah, it was just too many. There were so many competing things. And I mean, my symptoms kept getting worse and worse, and I kept losing weight.
So you're researching, you're out there, you're reading about carnivore, you're reading about the maker's diet, you're
Yeah.
reading about the fruitarian banana diet, and you're just
Yeah.
overwhelmed. You're restricting, and then you're trying to add back in, and then your symptoms are
Yeah.
getting worse. You're losing weight, you're losing energy, you're getting malnourished, and that's kind of
I had
that happened to me too.
arthritis was popping up, which was
Arthritis.
crazy.
It's
Never
just
experienced that.
yes, you've got. And how old are you, Cole?
I'm 28.
So you're 27 years old. I mean, I got symptoms at 19. I almost died at 26. And so I was in a very similar situation where I was just looking on the internet, trying everything, spending money on organic food and supplements and protocols. And I go see an naturopath and he tell me to eat chicken, rice, and pureed carrots and bone broth for 3 weeks straight and don't do anything else and just let your body reset. And then I'd lose 20 pounds and be really tired and fatigued. And I look in the mirror because I have a high metabolism just like you, right? So, and you're in that vicious cycle and you're like, this whole natural protocol is actually seemingly making me worse. You know, I have less natural defenses. My immune system seems weaker. I have less body fat to even lose. I have less energy. And I'm in more trauma because I don't know what to eat and I'm scared of everything. And so I know you got to a point where you said, all right, I'm out there looking, and you ran into one of our members who's been in the program for 3, 4, 5 years. So young man and his mom, I think the young man's about 19, 20 years old. We started working with him when he was about 16 or 15 in Texas. And so how did you get connected with them? And they referred you to the program. You didn't just see us on the internet or something. You got referred in by a friend of a friend, right?
Yeah. So the 19, 20-year-old you're talking about, it's his brother is friends with my brother-in-law through, whatever. And they happen to be at my brother-in-law's parents' house, which is my mother-in-law. And by this point, like my mother-in-law's, pretty health conscious. Like we're very open with her. She knew everything that was going on. She was praying for me and stuff.
Wow.
And she had known, like, hey, got diagnosed with ulcerative colitis. I'm trying to figure out what to do. And she had overheard the discussion, and somehow he was like, oh yeah, my older brother almost died, or older or younger brother, I forget which.
Younger brother.
Almost died from ulcerative colitis, but he got healed. And my mother-in-law like ran in there and was like, what? And he was like, oh yeah, he did some program. And she's like, well, what's the program? And so I get connected to the mom, and she's like,
Ashley. Shout out to
Ashley.
Evan Bass, Ashley Bass. What's up? We love you. Thank you so much for all the good energy you put in the world.
And Ashley lives in Ohio, I live in Texas, but her son goes to college in Texas.
He used to live in Texas.
And it just so happened that we literally linked up in person that upcoming weekend.
Wow.
And then she connected us to a webinar you were doing like the next day.
Wow.
And then I signed up. And
you got to come to one of my live webinars.
Yeah.
And then you were like, all right, let's do it. So you were just quick. I mean, guys, it
was fast.
It's fast. Cole knew he wanted to heal naturally. He had a friend of a friend. I mean, that's always big when you get referred in from someone you're actually looking at who got massive results. That's crazy. And that's why we try to take pride in really getting everyone as big results as we possibly can. It's hard work. It's not easy. It's not, but you can get in like that. And so you were having some pretty strong symptoms, but at the same time, you had also decided to use prednisone, but you were having blood, mucus, urgency, diarrhea. You had lost 30 pounds of weight. You were having 3, 6, sometimes 7 bowel movements. And then you were also getting some arthritic pains and bowel movements at night. And then your energy had dropped. So like real classic ulcerative colitis type experiences. But then you had decided that, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and try this prednisone out from the doctor. And I think this is a really important part I want to talk about on symptoms, but the prednisone really helped you out, right? Like you took that prednisone, and that's a lot of us. A lot of us go on 40 milligrams and we're like, oh, especially when you're newly diagnosed and your body's still strong, the prednisone works the best the first time you take it. Every time you keep taking it, it tends to get a little weaker. But prednisone, the first time I took prednisone, it was like, oh, thank God, like 2 bowel movements formed, I'm good. Like this is all I need. And then the doctors go, well, you can't stay on this. This is a steroid, this is a cortisol steroid. But we started working in something we like to call the slingshot method. So tell me about your experience with prednisone on that.
So doctor recommended a pretty quick, like 40, 30, 20, 10. I think that was it, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Every week.
Per week. So it was a 4-week taper. And actually, shout out to Ashley. I even ran this by Ashley, like at the time. And she even was like, oh, with my son, we didn't do that. We went like tapered by 5, and they went even all the way down to 2.5. And then I got partnered with Taylor. Shout out to Taylor, my health coach. She was awesome. Yeah, and she also just recommended like, yeah, it's up to you, but we recommend a slower taper. So I did 40, 35, 30. I went down by 5, so all the way to 5 milligrams. And so that made it like an 8-week taper, I think. I was probably like,
you gained 15, 20
if not 30 pounds back. I was on the track to be back to normal. I could still kind of sense that my body it still wasn't there yet.
Yeah.
And me speaking, like I do CrossFit. I'm not an athlete, but I'm I'm pretty fit. Like I'll go run, I'll do sprints, I lift heavy weights, power cleans, whatever.
You
And
push.
I knew like my body wasn't quite there yet.
Mhm.
I could just feel it, but it was almost there.
Nice. And I want to talk about something we did here that I think is a big highlight is when he was on the prednisone. Prednisone can really put a lot of stress on your adrenal glands. We specifically focused on his adrenal health, and as he slowly tapered off the prednisone, we made sure his body kept getting healthier as he slowed down the prednisone. And then as he came off the prednisone, he continued to get better. So a lot of us, what happens, we get better, we come off the prednisone, and then we flare again. And we get on the prednisone, flare again. And then all of a sudden you go on a biologic. So we worked a way of how do we work naturally with the prednisone you're on. You got off the prednisone, you were getting pretty good. And then over the next 1, 2, 3 months, you got really good. And you've been medication free for the last 7 months?
Yeah.
7 months. So no medications. And how many bowel movements a day are you having?
Sometimes just one. Sometimes I'll have another two to like another, 1 to 3 throughout the day, but it's very normal, controlled. And that's just, I've always been like, I have a fast metabolism, so I don't know. But
you were saying at one point you were eating how many calories a day while you were healing?
When I was on the prednisone, gaining weight, healing, literally 4,000 to 5,000 calories, and that was all like whole foods for the
whole
most part.
foods.
Like,
So another
I had a
thing,
huge
guys,
appetite.
you can increase your calories if you use proper food philosophy, and we build that plan, because if you can handle 4 ounces of food made this way, we work up to 7 of that food, 8 of that food, 12 of that food, and all of a sudden you can get that 100 grams of protein. You can get that 170 grams of protein that you want to get in. You've got to do it on the right principles, and you got to be careful of snacking. Amazing. I mean, and the fact is, everyone goes, oh, it's just prednisone. Well, you've been off prednisone for 7 months. You're still rocking great. You were diagnosed a year ago. You're still doing fantastic, and you have principles and systems that you're able to use to keep yourself good. And you're working out like a crazy, you're working out, stress. That's a hard thing on your body when you're trying to heal, then go do sprints and lift heavy weight.
Well, I didn't do that when I was healing, though.
No, of course
when I was
don't
healing,
do that, but you can do it now and stay in symptom free.
Yes, 100%. And fully
accomplishment.
Like,
that's hard.
Yeah. And I'll share this too, because I did CrossFit, but I didn't take it as like I had never counted my macros before, ever. I was always like, I don't want to do that. But now it's like, I know I'm hitting my protein goals. Like I've counted my macros, I'm fueling properly. I'm eating healthy whole foods. I'm avoiding seed oils, like all the thing. I'm getting, grass-fed meat, all this stuff. I've even included
27, 28 years old, man. It's just a shout out to all the young people.
Yeah.
You have to go drink alcohol and you have to eat crap food to like live a great life. That is a poor life. It is a chain on your ankle, and you need to reinvent happiness, because this past of happiness of poisoning yourself is not happiness. And Cole is a testament to that, man. He's living his best life, and he does not need to poison himself. He's probably got a better lifestyle than the people who don't have ulcerative colitis, out there playing disc golf, not worried about a bathroom, out there doing CrossFit, going for runs, not worried about a bathroom. And that's how my life is too. I never think about where a bathroom was, but I used to go 25 times a day. For you to get referred in and then get great results, that's music to my ears. Hallelujah. Praise God on that, dude. Because for me, it's like, I want everyone, I really want everyone to get massive results and pay it forward. And I know you were watching some of these testimonies, and for you to do one yourself now, that's got to be a little wild or ironic.
Yeah, it was awesome. Yeah, as we were coming up to the end of the program, and by the end of my program and meeting with Taylor, I was already doing great.
How important was Coach Taylor to your success? Let's take a second on Taylor. Like when you saw that you were going to be connected with Coach Taylor.
It was awesome. I literally felt like I had struck the lottery, because she was someone, and I think this is huge. All the coaches have been diagnosed with, IBD in some way, shape, or form. And she had a crazy battle for 4 or 5 years when she was 12 years old to 16 or whatever it was. And then the fact that she was able to get healed, get healthy naturally, and she had battles, she had surgeries, all that stuff, way worse than mine. And then she went and got a degree in nutrition, and then a master's degree in nutrition. It's like, okay, I knew, okay, she's motivated. Like she is this is her jam, And then when I met with her, she was so personable, so easy to talk to, so affirming, but so knowledgeable. I was like, oh my gosh, this, she could, you know what I mean? It was,
yeah,
crazy.
she's good. She's very good. Yeah, no,
So
it's not even the
it was
degrees.
awesome.
It's the specialty in IBD and having
Yeah.
IBD for 20 years yourself, and someone who's a clinical herbalist, master's in nutrition, who's specialized in natural healing and root cause treatment. It's amazing. I'm so happy you connected with her and you guys vibed and you were able to get such massive success. And she built your plan that helped you get off the prednisone, not need to use other medications, which was your goal that you and your doctor talked about. And to have this skill set, Cole. Last thing I'd say, you're 28. You were diagnosed a year ago. Doctors say this for life. Does it make you feel confident and empowered that you have this community, you have this skill set, you have this customized approach in your back pocket? Like no matter what happens in the future, you can respond. Do you feel like that? Do you feel confident moving forward?
Yes, 100%. Because I know my symptoms came on very slowly and I was in denial, uneducated. I didn't know what to do at all. And then I started just throwing stuff and seeing what stick until I was in a bad position, obviously. Which I have not had any symptoms come back at all, but if I did, I would immediately know that I could flip the switch. And I mean, not to say like I'm still following a lot of the protocols, but you know what I mean? I could just turn it back on.
Yeah. You've got your Batman belt. You could focus on different things in your plan to say, hey, I got to respond to adversity. Remember that, guys. We can't eradicate adversity, but we can respond to it. Build your shield. That's how you respond. And anyone who's listening and connecting with Cole and you feel like you need a place to go and learn, we give a 1-hour free consultation below. The link below will give you a 1-hour free deep dive. We'll talk about your case, natural medicine experience, what your goals are, what we think potential root issue is. It's a fit, it's a fit. If it's not, that's okay. We want to hold space for you. We want to build trust and integrity. That's very important to what we do and why. Cole, any last thoughts for anyone who's resonating with you, feeling like a gym person, someone just diagnosed, someone overwhelmed with the information on the internet, someone who's stuck? What would be your 2 cents and your advice to them?
I mean, I would definitely say if you're in that position, like this is the program for you. And it's worth the investment into your health and it's worth acting now. I made massive change in my life, like drastic changes. But at the same time, if you make those drastic changes in 6 months, 12 months, like so much can happen. And everyone's case is different, but I totally 100% believe you can find healing and live the life you want to live, you know?
Last question, Cole. Do you miss your old life?
No.
Do you enjoy this?
Definitely not.
Do you enjoy this life more? Do you more happy in this life than the one you had to leave?
Yes. I'm way more in tune with my body. I mean, I know we're coming up on time too, but but like I burned both ends of the candles all the time and I relied too heavily on caffeine. I didn't sleep enough. I was putting my body in a stressed environment all the time, you know, go. Like I have 2 little kids too. We didn't talk about that necessarily, but when I work at full time in sales, I'm providing for a family of 4, all this stuff. And it's like, I was just go. And now I just realized people get diagnosed for a bunch of reasons, but I think a big thing for me is I was stressed out. I was always on go and I wasn't sleeping, recovering, you know, and then eating crap a lot of the time. But it's like, you know, I still eating pretty healthy, but you know, whatever, it just, my body was on overload. And now I just realized like, hey, sometimes I need to just sleep in on a Tuesday and that's okay. If I slept in through my alarm clock, I used to be like, oh my gosh, I'm a failure. Yeah. Now it's like, hey, my body needed rest. Like that's okay.
That's why we make money.
Just stuff like that.
Yeah, we make money to give ourselves space, right? Wealth is a defense against life's adversities, and to have time and space is important. I love it and everything you're saying, because we get happier when we get healthier. And when you choose this new life, you realize there's no sense in poisoning yourself. You have way more freedom here. And every disease gets less risky when you choose this life. It's a better life in every single way. Happy healing, guys.